Right, take two.
Here we go.
The Red Army Reaction podcast.
Good name.
Tentatively named.
Yeah, you came up with it.
Well,
Dad
me
came
and
up
Dad. It was me, really.
Okay. That's a Soviet route. That's
yeah. It's something I've wanted to do for quite a while.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about this for a very long time.
Yeah, not always seriously.
No.
Yeah, it's about time.
You got to start somewhere.
We're cutting it fine for the new season, I think.
Yeah, definitely. But, we can turn it around quickly. And also, this is very up to date and very current.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You don't want to record your season preview, before 6 months ago.
Yeah, right. Well, should we talk about United then?
Yeah, why not? Where do you want to start? Well, we've had, summer's nearly over.
It is.
Back to school.
Yeah, got to back my books. The tour went well.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, and they wanted the signings done before the tour. They got 2 of them in. Which is always.
Burma was again cutting it fine, just in time. It threatened to drag on for quite a while.
Yeah, it did. Which we haven't had for a while.
No,
sort of a saga, but it wasn't a saga in the end. It was one club negotiating against itself for a couple of weeks, and then
did we ultimately just pay the money? Did we just give Brentford what they want? Because there was a bit of a thing where we were trying to fix our reputation in the industry essentially by not just paying what they wanted.
Yes.
But some fans were getting impatient and saying, just give them the money.
Yeah, I think the strategy, and it seems to have been the strategy for every signing, has been get a buy-in from the player first, and then you can sort of take your time. Because if you're not competing with anyone, then that a lot of the pressure goes away. The pressure to get it done. So in Bomo, they had buy-in off the player pretty early. He made it clear he was only going to sign for United. Sesko, it was a much quicker turnaround, but they got buy-in off the player before putting a bid in, which they wanted to do. It looks like they're doing that with other players as well. And it does make it a lot easier if you can sort of say, if it's us or no one, then as long as no one remains a viable option, then you can take your time with it.
Yeah.
If we make it clear that we absolutely need the player, which we've definitely
done in the past, where we've strong-armed. We've seen, this is a good player who's available. Let's do whatever we can to convince him to come to us against his will. Di Maria was a big one of that. He clearly didn't want to come to United, but we were just desperate to sign him.
He was the player available for the right sort of money.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't the right fit or the player didn't want to join, it was just, we need to sign about a £60 million player.
Yeah, but we do seem to be better at that. Every player we're linked with, it's like, particularly Sesko and Mbeumo's, they want to come to United. Yeah. They've turned down other offers. They're only interested in United.
Yeah. I mean, the other offer has been Newcastle. And, turning down Newcastle is not the hardest choice.
Yeah, that's what everyone's doing at the minute.
Yeah. No, but I was happy with the business. Good to get a couple of players. That's what tour's all about, really, is watching new players play.
Yeah, very little convincing yourself that they're going to set the world alight.
Yeah, if we'd gone into the tour with the same squad that we ended last season and no players close even, then the mood would be much different than it is now. I always say preseason doesn't matter, but playing all right in a few games really does feel a lot better than, when we lost, what season was it? We lost 4-0 to Dortmund. Was it Jose? And we lost in the pre-season, we lost 4-0 to Dortmund. And Jose, in his typical way, said, ignore it. It's because they're fitter than we are. And maybe it is. And maybe we were just fitter than Everton and West Ham were and Bournemouth were. But it feels a lot better than losing. Yeah,
definitely.
It sets you up for, the opening league game. You've got a bit of momentum under your belt. As little momentum as you can build in 3 games that don't matter, but more momentum than we had to finish last season.
Yeah. It's interesting that we've signed 3 players all straight into the first team and they're all attackers.
Yeah.
It was a big issue last season was obviously goal scoring. We scored, 44 goals or something last
in the
season,
league, yeah.
Which is
rubbish.
Appalling. That is awful. So we've signed, basically a whole new front 3.
Yeah.
Is that going to be the front 3 going forward? It seems like if you sign those 3 players, they're going to play every game on the fit.
I think the only issue around that is Bruno. But if you class Bruno as a midfielder, last season, our midfielders and defenders scored above average for goals in the league. So the fact that we scored 44, we scored like the 15th most goals. Our forwards did nothing. Our 3 forwards who played the most minutes, Garnacho, Højlund, Xerxes, had 4 league goals between them?
I think Højlund and Xerxes got 4 each, and Garnacho got a couple,
in the league.
I think so,
maybe, but not very
not
many.
A lot, not enough
compared to Cunha and Mbeumo.
Yeah.
So the only sort of pause I would have on saying this is our new first choice front 3 is Bruno, but he looks like he's playing Bruno in field.
Yeah, he seems to prefer Bruno in midfield. The issue last season was if he played Bruno in midfield, who was going to score the goals?
Yeah.
If Bruno's not near the goal, then you've got no hope. Bruno trying to set up Højlund and Xerxes and Garnacho just wasn't working.
Yeah.
But if he's actually setting up players who can score goals in the Premier League, then maybe he'll be all right back there.
Yeah. Then the other issue is who do you play with him? Because Ugarte has sort of been a sort of fits and starts for his form.
I think that's generous.
I'm hesitant to write someone off after one season, but he's got it's make or break season for him. I think the club have even said they're looking at 2 years for a turnaround on a player.
Seems to be the case with Højlund.
If they're not getting what they want after 2 years, then sort of the ship has sailed.
Yeah.
Which they need to be a bit more ruthless. That's something that they haven't been in the past.
Yeah.
So I'm not writing Ugarte off yet. Kobe.
I'm interested to see how he fits in. I can't see us playing at regularly in midfield of Mainu and Fernandes.
No.
Behind that front 3.
No. And we haven't got that many games. We've got
38 games and hopefully a few in the cup.
If we beat Grimsby. Kobe, I think he'll probably start the season coming off the bench. And he looks sharp. He looks sharp in pre-season. He looks fit. So I think there's definitely a pathway to someone plus Fernandes turning into someone plus Kobe over the course of the season and sort of sunsetting Fernandes a little bit in the team.
Yeah.
We've got to stop everything going through him.
Yeah.
Because there was, when we talked about selling him at the start of the summer, it was, what are we if we don't have Fernandes?
How on earth would we manage?
What is our team? Does our team exist without Fernandes? And I think we need to sort of, he's not a spring chicken. So we're going to have to look at sort of life beyond Fernandes a bit.
Yeah.
Not immediately because we didn't sell him. But so I think Kobe can definitely grow into that first team role. He probably played too much in his first season and then not enough in his second season.
Yeah.
So third season, hopefully somewhere in the middle, get a proper development path. And hopefully, I'm not to spoil anything, but hopefully another midfielder joins.
Yeah. As at time of recording, we're preparing a bid for Belieber or in contacting through intermediaries. We've been reassured that he wants to come, but
he's going to be very expensive.
It's going to be difficult.
Yeah, if we're a very bad selling club, Brighton are a very good selling club.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing to extract maximum value. And I think, from Brian's point of view, the way to extract maximum value is wait a year.
Yeah.
It's not going to turn. I don't think they're going to extract that much value in a year. If we're willing to pay £100 million, they're not going to get £150 million
next year.
Even with bidding war.
To get the most money, they would sell him now. But they don't tend to sell players until they're ready. Yeah. They decide in advance that summer will sell him.
Yeah.
And unless someone comes in with a crazy offer.
Yeah, I'm sure they've got the next Belieber somewhere in the works.
Shame we can't just sign him. But.
Well, we've tried that with Sekou Kone. We'll see what happens there. But if that midfield spot it doesn't worry me. But
when
that
you're
would
looking
be
at the team,
when I'm looking at the team, that's the one, and the goalkeeper.
But it's sort of cooled down all rumours of goalkeepers.
Yeah, I think probably decided not to put any money towards it and would only reinvest what they got back, and they can't sell.
Yeah, it's not a priority at the minute, goalkeeper, it seems.
No, I think the priority would be stopping Onana dropping the ball in the back of his net.
Yeah.
It's a lot cheaper to turn him into a something competent keeper again than it is to fully replace him.
You hope so. I mean, last season, I would say Amorim didn't really improve any players when he came in.
Not in the 6 months he was there.
But, he's had a lot of time with the players now. Have we?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, so improving Onana's form is a big one, but the players' form is so linked to the team form, and the team form was so held back by the forwards that I'm really hopeful that if we can start, I think not scoring any goals masked masked any sort of green shoots of progress that may have been there in the build-up or in sort of improvements in defence. Any of that, you can't turn it into points without goals.
Yeah, and then we let in just ridiculous goals.
Yeah.
Individual errors and stuff that you can't. You can cut them out as up to a point, but
it's so
they
much
don't really
stuff.
speak to how good the defence is as a unit when it's just one player making a mistake.
Yeah.
Or Onana, usually.
Yeah, and you'd hope that scoring a few goals, if you scored the first goal, the whole team is lifted.
Yeah.
And then you're more confident at keeping them out. Whereas if it's 0-0 and then they come up the other end and you're like, the panic sets in because, the result's on the line. Whereas if you can score a goal, then, you're a lot more likely to win. It's pretty rudimentary stuff.
Just going back to Cunha and Mbeumo, they, between them, got 35 league goals last season. Yeah. Are they guaranteed goals in the Premier League?
I think they're as close as it gets. I think for that position, if you look at who we could have signed, there's Salah, who we couldn't sign, and then there's Haaland, Isak, too expensive,
Chris Wood,
too old and rubbish. Had a purple patch for season, and then it's those two, we've somehow signed them both. I didn't really see it coming. I thought we'd sign Cunha because it was sort of on the cards pretty early on.
Yeah.
But Cunha and Mbeumo I just hadn't really considered as an option.
Yeah. Are you at all, more about this kind of thing than me, are you at all concerned that they were too high XG overperformers?
A little. They both had good finishing seasons, but it wasn't a one-off. Cunha's outperformed his XG for a few years in a row now and has been improving. And Mbeumo has similarly is the sort of goals he scores are, if you look at, over the volume of 20 goals over a season, there's not that many sort of freak long range goals in there. There's just reliable finishing.
Yeah. They do both score from outside the box, but not speculative efforts kind of thing.
No, I mean, Cunha has a lot of shots and a lot of sort of low XG shots, which turns into a few goals. But I think we missed that a little bit last season. We didn't have anywhere near enough shots.
Yeah, Højlund in particular just seemed
just so reticent to shoot. Because, and maybe that's the manager saying, we can't afford to turn the ball over all the time and you're not very good at shooting, so don't do it. But Cunha's going to have a little bit more of that license, I think, to let fly if he thinks it's the right thing to do. I think sort of trusting in attackers that you can trust in who have done it and have done it at this level, you can sort of say, well, if you think you're going to score, then I'm happy for you to give it a go.
Yeah.
Because they have that track record.
Yeah. So as it stands, what's the window out of 10?
I think you are limited in how good a window you can have if you only sign one position, I think. And if you only sign 3 players. Off the back of the worst season the club has ever had.
Yeah.
So, not the club has ever had, you got relegated, but certainly in the last 30 years. Is 3 players enough to sort of signal how unhappy you were with last season? No. I think 4 or 5 would be closer to that. Yeah. But the signings we have made, I'm very happy with each of them as individuals. So I'd probably put it about 6 out of 10 at this stage.
And then if we get Belieber, that's an 8?
Yeah, and then a goalkeeper as well. I'd be pretty. I'd struggle to fault it as a window.
Really have addressed all the issues.
Yeah, it would far exceed expectations. At the moment, I think it's about where I thought we'd be. I thought 3 starters. It's about the minimum we could do going into the season. Yeah, I don't know if I would have made 3 starters all at forward, but if you're bidding off 5 forwards, then you need to replace them.
Yeah, that's another factor in the rate in the window is the selling. We had those 5, the bomb squad, as they were called: Rashford, Sancho, Garnacho, Malacia, and Anthony.
Yeah,
and we've loaned out one of them.
Yeah. So I think there's still work to be done there, but again, it's the sort of fixing the reputation of clubs can do whatever they want.
Yeah,
Chelsea bidding, if they could get him for 30 million, they would have him by now.
Yeah.
Garnacho.
You have to set your price.
You have to, even though everyone thinks we need the money, and we probably do need the money, especially if we want to sign another player or 2. But it's more about the sort of long-term reputational improvements of we're not rubbish at selling, because we've just been awful at selling for a very long time. That goes back to the last good sale we had was probably Ronaldo. I mean, Lukaku, Di Maria, we didn't take a huge hit on them.
We made a profit on Dan James.
Yeah. I think we got a decent fee for Daley Blind, I think. But nothing, for a very long time, nothing noteworthy in that department.
Yeah.
Apart from academy players, but that's only the last couple of years.
Yeah. I think we need to call Garnacho and Anthony's bluff to an extent, because Garnacho apparently saying it's Chelsea or El Rot in the reserves.
Yeah.
And Anthony saying he only wants to go to Real Betis. But I think if the end of August comes around and they've not gone to those 2 clubs, Saudi window's open and Turkish window's open.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll have offers from those leagues. And with it's a World Cup next summer, I don't believe that they will be happy to sit in the reserves rather than play somewhere.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair enough. I think definitely Garnacho's he's worth more than 50 million. If you look at where the market has been this window, he's better than Elanga. He's better than Gittins. He's probably better than Madueke.
Well, I think that's generous. I think he's got more potential.
Maybe not better. He's worth more than those 2 players because he's 2 or 3 years younger than all of them.
Yeah.
And
when you look at what he's done in the Premier League, scored an FA Cup final as well.
Yeah.
People are forgetting what he's actually done because he's a knobhead.
Yeah, he wasn't great last season at times and he was wasteful, but he's still a player who generates a lot of shots for himself. Yeah. And if he can find his shooting boots, he could very easily become £100 million player.
Yeah.
So there's no world you can take 30 million, even if you're desperate for the money. Unless the only way I could see it is if they had an agreement with Brighton that the player could come this summer if they got to a certain amount of money, then maybe you just get the money in and you say, we'll take the hit
because we can believe it. Yeah.
But until you get to that point, you've got to stand your ground. You've got to say, we are not going to be walked over. And even if you eat 6 months of Garnacho's wages and then sell him for less in January, it will mean going forward that when next summer a player wants to leave, then it will save us a lot of time. And clubs won't immediately think we'll just bid whatever we think.
Yeah.
And that's the same with signing players. I think the sort of long term, if we wait longer to get Mbeumo, then it doesn't have as long of a preseason. He's not as sharp going into the Arsenal game. Could cost us 3 points against Arsenal, but they are attempting to undo 20 years of damage to the club. The 3 points against Arsenal is very important, but the sort of next 10 years is where they're thinking, I think, with that sort of thing and that sort of repositioning United in the market as a club who sort of know what they're doing.
Yeah. Shall we predict the Premier League season? get away from United for a bit. Well, I would say we were going to predict the top 6 and the bottom 3.
Yeah.
But we should make sure we predict United as well, because a lot of people would not have us in the top 6.
Yeah,
some people probably got us in the bottom 3. But
go on. You go first. Then who's your title favourite? Well, not for you. I'm not. You don't have to use the word favourite.
Yeah.
Who do you think will win the league?
I mean, I don't want any of them to. I've tried not to be biased in this. I think the only prediction I've been biased in is where United are.
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
I've gone for Arsenal.
Right.
Top of the league.
Okay. So you think Gyökeres is a missing piece of the puzzle?
To an extent. I think lots of people are saying Liverpool. Liverpool, the obvious one. They've won the league. They've spent a lot of money. But I think it's unusual that the team who wins the league then goes out and has the most outlay.
It's sort of bought four starters.
Yeah.
That never happens.
They've sold well as well. They sold Nunez and Diaz. But the players they've signed, they are great players. Ekitike and Wirtz look really good.
Yeah.
And Frimpong as well. He's obviously a very talented young player.
Yeah.
But then they've lost Trent, and I don't know if Frimpong will be as good as Trent immediately.
They were reliant on Trent a lot for build-up, and he had a very unique skill set. It's difficult to see Frimpong replicating that straight away.
Salah is a year older, and he'll be at AFCON for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And, can't forget about the tragic circumstances of Diego Jota. You don't know how a club will react to that,
No.
It doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, there's not really a benchmark for it.
So that could affect them, And as for Arsenal, I don't want Liverpool or Arsenal to win the league, obviously, but I think Gyökeres, I don't think he's going to come in and score 30 goals or anything, but I think he'll just make the difference in certain games. I think he'll probably end up with about 15 to 16 goals, but if he can turn draws into wins and win them big games, because that's one thing they don't. I mean, they did beat City 5-1, but generally in the past, they've faltered away at the big sides. And I think if he'll play a role in the team even when he's not scoring, and he'll be that focal point for them. And they've got other players who can score goals as well.
Yeah.
And I think he'll just get important goals. It'll be quality rather than quantity at times.
Yeah.
And I think he could turn them into a title-winning side.
I think they slightly got worse last season than they were when they were up against City. And maybe that's because there's some sort of weird rivalry there between them and City, and they used that to sort of spur themselves on. And when City fell away, Arsenal couldn't motivate themselves to the same degree.
Yeah.
But if he can add a few goals in the right moments, hopefully not on Sunday, then they can, if they get close, then the only thing with Arsenal is whether they can keep it up and whether they can handle the pressure.
Yeah.
Which we've seen in the past them sort of falter when they've never really been expected to win the league because of the teams they've been up against. Yeah. But they get into a position where they need to carry on at the same level and they will win the league, and then they get worse.
Yeah.
And there are certain games where you just think if they've just had someone to grab it by the scruff of the neck and stick one in the onion bag, then it would get them through that period.
Yeah.
Once you've gone, if you have 2 or 3 of those games in a row where you can't quite get over the line, then it's very easy to go from 2 or 3 to 5 or 6. And with the odd win in there, I'm not saying they'll go on a huge winless run, but if you can nip it in the bud and say, right, we've had 2 games here where we've not looked great, we just need a goal. I think Gyökeres is perfect for that, and can absolutely. I don't know if it doesn't, in my head, it doesn't turn them into title favourites. I think
Are you still going for Liverpool?
Yeah, I am. I'm very reluctant to, but I just think they were the best team last season and they've strengthened the most. And I think that's an unusual situation we've not seen for a long time. I don't even know if United had a window where they were, how many points clear did Liverpool finish? 10 points clear.
Yeah.
And then sign 3 or 4 genuine improvements. I think Gyökeres is a genuine improvement. He's a very attacking player, but he's got the physicality to get up and down and I don't think he'll be caught out too often. Wirtz and Ekitike, there's no guarantee of translating Bundesliga form into Premier League form. It's not been the most well-trodden route, but it's more established. What league is there a great record for?
The Championship.
The Championship's the one, but we've seen lots of players come from the Bundesliga and not work. A lot of players come from Portugal and not work. Players come from
the Netherlands
and not work. So I think if the player's right, then they sort of transcend that sort of league, the Bundesliga tax thing, I think.
Yeah. And Wirtz just seems like one of those, he's ready-made to be one of the best players in the world.
Yeah, definitely. I think
regardless of what league he's been playing in.
Yeah. So I think they've not been hit too hard by Trent leaving. They've managed to go out and get a starter in that position. There was talk of, at the start of the window, people were saying that Conor Bradley was going to play that role, and I just don't. I think they've done the right thing and gone big in that position. And I really think that there'll be too much. The only sort of caveat upon that is we don't know what City are going to turn up.
Yeah.
City could be the City of last year, or they could be the City of 3 years ago.
Yeah.
They're in a really. I think they'll probably come second, because I like their signings. But again, there's no guarantee that any of those will translate.
Yeah.
I think Ryan. I'm gone.
They've signed a lot of players, and they need them all to work. But even if they do, they've not fixed the defence.
No.
They've not got a right back.
Yeah, they've still not replaced Kyle Walker. Yeah. I think Reinders is a good signing, but he's not the next Rodri. I think he's sort of the next Gundogan in a way.
Yeah.
He can be deployed in lots of different ways. He can look after the ball really well. But I don't think he's got the sort of... I mean, Rodri, the only defensive midfielder to win the Ballon d'Or, he's a very, very good player and very difficult to find a drop-in replacement for.
Yeah.
They're obviously going to get worse without him.
Yeah.
The issue is, how often are they going to be without him? Looks like the first few weeks at least. And probably finding a different way to play.
Yeah, recreate him in the aggregate.
Yeah. Finding a different way to play, finding other ways to win games that aren't just smothering a team and recycling the ball with essentially flawless efficiency, which is what Rodri does. They've got a lot of good players. Cherky's a player I'm really interested to see. I think he's a sort of profile that, again, isn't guaranteed to translate to the Premier League.
Yeah.
Much more aggressive defensive style than in France. And, we played him in the Europa League. He can do a lot of good stuff, but also he didn't change either of those games really fundamentally. So interested to see him. I think he can definitely sort of fill in for the loss of De Bruyne, but no one's De Bruyne. So they're an interesting side. We don't know I think there's probably, you could predict a 20-point gap in City's, a plus or minus 10 points, and you'd be fairly, they could get anywhere between 95 and 75 points next season, and you wouldn't be that surprised.
Yeah, it's strange, really. It must be the first time in at least 5 years that most people aren't predicting City to win the league.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think last season when Liverpool played City in the second half of the season was the first time in like 4 years that City hadn't gone into a game as favourites because it takes sort of 6 weeks of bad form for their odds to come down. Liverpool were the best team in the country last season.
Yeah.
But
it had to be well established into the season for that to happen.
So there's maybe Pep's, finished at this level. I don't think so. People have said that every sort of 3 years for a while. Yeah,
in 2020 when Liverpool won the league, a bit of a canter. There was a bit of a feeling of this City team done, it was at the end of the cycle, and then they went on and won 4 in a row. So
yeah, you can't really rule them out.
You can never write them off.
I think, who else have City signed?
Ait Nouri.
Yeah, that's a good, fine Premier League player.
Yeah,
will do a job at left back.
The goalkeeper situation's interesting.
Really interesting, yeah.
I can't tell. I mean, Ortega's still there.
Yeah.
They've signed Trafford.
Yeah.
They might be set. Well, when they signed Trafford, it was Ortega's going to leave and it'll be Edison and Trafford. But now Edison might leave and they might sign Donnarumma, which would be very strange. It made sense to me, Edison as the older goalkeeper and Trafford as the younger one. And then this season they'll play a bit each. And then Edison will leave in a year and Trafford will be the number one. But if they sign Donnarumma, that goes out the window.
Yeah, and I can't see them unless... I mean, what City have made a strong stance of, if a player has to leave, then we'll let them leave.
Yeah.
And if Edison has got an offer from a Turkish club to pay him, £500,000 a week, then I think City wouldn't stand in his way.
Yeah.
It would be weird to change both goalkeepers in the summer, especially an expensive goalkeeper like Trafford. He's not. Yeah. He wasn't signed like a sort of £3 or £4 million goalkeeper. He was signed as the next thing. But if you sign Donnarumma at 26, he's going to want to play the next 5 years.
Yeah.
So I
can't imagine Trafford would be very happy about it.
I don't think he'd be delighted. But again, no one wants to play for Newcastle. So maybe he's the new Scott Carson, if not the new Edison.
Yeah. Chelsea fourth.
Arsenal third, Chelsea fourth for me.
So would you say Arsenal, Liverpool, City?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But I've watched a lot of people previewing the Premier League season, predicting it. I've watched Spencer Owen's predictions. I've watched Pitchside and the Club for my sins. I've read the Athletic preview. I've listened to the Totally Football show. Everyone's got those four as the top four.
Yeah.
In varying orders. No one's really got Chelsea to win the league.
Yeah.
But everyone pretty much has got Chelsea third or fourth.
Yeah.
Liverpool, Arsenal or City to win the league, and then the other two in second and third.
Yeah, definitely. That seems to be a common theme. And I can't really fault the logic. Again, Chelsea, they've probably got 15 ins and outs to go before the end of the window. So we don't really know what they're going to look like. But they've got a lot of good players and they've signed well. I think they've signed, Liam Delap is better than Jackson. I think that's an upgrade straight away.
João Pedro looks really good.
João Pedro will add a lot. Well, I don't know if he'll add a lot of goals, but again, he'll sort of add a type of goal that they were very reliant on Cole Palmer for.
Yeah.
And Cole Palmer, very good player, doesn't necessarily do it every single time. So having another player to sort of take some of that burden will be really good for him as well, I think. And if they sign Garnacho, I think
they could do with a few more young wingers.
Yeah, it's an odd one. I can see why Garnacho wants to go there because they'll pay him a lot of money and they'll let him play in the Premier League.
Yeah.
But they keep signing these young forwards and they keep leaving. And I don't know if there's any guarantee that any of them will play a decent amount.
Yeah.
I can see why he doesn't want to go abroad because at his age it's difficult to go abroad. But and maybe there's just not the alpha for him there in Spain, which was really the only sort of place I could see him going. But he also has a very high opinion of himself, so he probably wouldn't play for anybody other than the big three in Spain.
Yeah. Chelsea, I can see them starting well and it looking like it might be a 4-horse race. But Chelsea, I think, will be the first to fall away from that. They've not fixed the goalkeeper issue. It's an easy thing to say, but Robert Sanchez is not a title-winning goalkeeper.
No, I think he's probably a top 4 goalkeeper, but beyond that,
fourth.
No. Yeah.
I've gone for Spurs 5th and United 6th.
Yeah.
Those two, no one predicted them right last season with 15th and 17th, and people are predicting them basically anywhere between 5th and 17th again this season.
Yeah.
And they're probably the two hardest sides to pick. And that was attempting not to be biased by going Spurs above United.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be really hard to say.
Yeah.
Spurs could go either way. They've obviously won a trophy and then sacked the manager, but they had to really. They can't be worse. They simply can't be worse in the league than they were last season.
No.
They've signed not a lot of players. They've signed Kudus, who is a good player, and they might be signing Eze, who is a very good player. But they've lost Maddison as well. So
and Son,
of course, yeah, he's been a big player for him. It's hard to predict how that's going to go. So Spurs are very difficult, but I think it's going to go quite well for them. Clearly,
do you like Frank?
I mean, I find him a bit annoying, but I think he's a good manager. Is quite a big switch from Ange's suicide ball to Thomas Frank, but he'll sort them out to a certain extent. They might not ever become an amazing team under Thomas Frank. It's hard to say because we've only seen him manage Brentford in this country, but there might well be a ceiling to what he can get that team up to. But the floor of that team will go up a long way, I think.
Yeah.
And they'll just be so much more. You can't be less solid than they were under Postecoglou, but they'll just be so much more controlled.
Yeah. I think Spurs and United are difficult to predict because I think they've got the most ground to make up, obviously, but I think the rest of the window is massive for both of them. I think Spurs haven't really added enough to, if you're talking about fifth place, you're looking at a 30-point game. I don't think they've added 30 points. Thomas Frank will, obviously you don't add 30 points in players. That's very much a systematic thing, but I don't think they've added quite enough to push them up. I've not got them in the top 6. I don't think United have either. My only qualm my only caveat on that would be that how much the lack of goals was holding United back and how much of our...
Hopefully a lot.
Yeah, I think both teams, their form towards the end of the season can be put down a little bit to the Europa League. I think sort of from maybe not Christmas, but certainly from sort of end of Feb, both teams were out of it in the league and had a chance that they saw to repair the damage of a bad season. So I think a little bit of their league form can be put down to that. I'm hopeful that, obviously, I think United 5th is... I think that's sort of... Is it the minimum expectation? Probably not.
I think probably Europe is the minimum expectation with the money we've spent. And we don't know what
money will continue to spend.
5th will be Champions League or not.
No.
I think United in 5th, it is a big ask and it's a big change. I'm hopeful, again, that so many of those games, if we can score the right goal at the right time, the whole result changes. And it's not even a case of turning a 1-0 into a 1-1. It's a case of not going 3-0 down by going 1-0 up. And so many of those games at home that we had, there was about 5 games at home last season where we looked all right for a bit, nothing happened, and then the other team scored and we completely collapsed. I'm thinking like Bournemouth at home, Palace at home, Forest
Spurs
at home, Spurs at home. Those games where you think if we can just get one in, they'll look all right here. And then they concede a cheap goal. And Onana had his part to play in that. But there's a massive... I think rather than the whole squad getting sort of 10% better, I think the front three have got like 100% better. And certain games that will hold us back because I think in big games, I think that we won't see a similar uptick in performance from adding those players because the issue in those games comes more around how you look after the ball and what you do when you have the ball. And obviously, creating one chance in a game and having a reliable player to score it is better than creating one chance in a game and having Højlund on the end of it. But the uptick in those games will come from having more than one chance in those games and being able to not be sort of dominated by teams that are more established than us. But I think what the forwards will do is so many of those games against teams that we should beat, rather than teams that we should beat just not being able to do it, just not being able to get the first goal. I'm hopeful that means that we should see more of a points game than if everyone gets a bit better, which isn't really a thing you can do in the market. But I think dramatically improving on some positions is the right strategy for United this summer.
When our forward line dramatically underperformed last season. Who have you got in sixth then?
I don't know. I think there's a sort of a 3-horse race in my head between Spurs, Newcastle and Villa. I think Forest will struggle to replicate what they did last summer.
A lot of people saying
they've lost Elanga. They kept Gibbs White, which is great for them.
Yeah.
And they'll sign some weird forwards from some small leagues that will, one of them will work. I guess if you sign 5 players, you only need one of them to work.
Yeah.
I think they'll struggle with the extra games and play in Europa League, not Conference League. They will. It's a good calibre of opposition in the Europa League.
Yeah. I think top half would still be a good finish for Forest.
Yeah, definitely. I think they'd bite your hand off for that at this stage. So I think Villa, they've not really got started in the window yet.
No.
They generally leave it late, I think. They sort of let everyone else settle.
And see who signs their players.
Yeah, and then see what they've got to work with and then pick up a few. They've sort of hamstrung themselves by betting massively on getting Champions League and paying a lot of wages over the second half of our season.
Yeah.
And it will be, so I don't know how limited they are, but there's talk of them selling Morgan Rogers.
Yeah, and Jacob Ramsey's been linked a lot with West Ham and Newcastle.
Watkins, maybe. I think probably not at this stage because there's not that many other forwards to move. They have signed that forward from Lille. Did they sign a forward from Lille? I can't remember his name. They've just signed a forward from the French league who had a sort of breakout season last year. It's annoying me that I can't remember his name. But
it'll come to you. 3 o'clock in the morning.
Definitely. But Villa, I think Emery's a really good manager, and I think he's a better manager than the other teams around them, and that can make a difference. And he's the sort of manager who can improve players and get performances out of bad players. So Villa, I think it's foolish to put them anywhere below 7th. I think they've got enough quality, and with Emery, I think they've got enough quality to push the teams around above them. But I don't see them having another season where they sort of threaten top 4. And then Newcastle are a really hard team to predict again because of Isak.
Yeah, I'm coming around to thinking Isak will stay now.
Yeah.
He's another player where he's saying, I'm never playing for this club again.
Yeah.
But Newcastle, he's got a contract till 2028.
Newcastle have no pressure.
Newcastle don't get an acceptable bid, they'll keep him, and he will not refuse to play for a whole season in a World Cup year.
No.
He won't do that. It's happened loads of times before. Players have done it and then they've ended up staying. And of course, they've trained and played.
Yeah.
Because they're professional footballers.
I mean, recently, Caicedo sort of threw his toys out the pram at Brighton to get them moved to Chelsea. And Brighton said, they've not met the valuation, you stay in. 2 weeks after the end of the window, he's back training.
Yeah.
There's a well-established pattern of players thinking they have more power than they do.
Yeah. Like you're under contract. They have no obligation to sell you.
A gentleman's agreement is worth the paper it's You know, we've seen it with a lot of players, Gyökeres earlier this summer, who feel like they have an agreement, a firm commitment from a club to let them leave.
Yeah.
But the club have the power. If you've signed on the dotted line, they can extract as much value as they see fit. And eventually Gyökeres got his move. I think if Liverpool had not got Wirtz, maybe, or they'd not won the league last season and they were trying to bridge the gap, then I could see them being a bit more gung-ho with it. But I think they're probably just testing the water. And if it doesn't happen, they'll be quite happy with it.
Yeah, but we get him in here.
And then if he stays and we don't know what version of him is going to turn up, I think he'll probably be fine. He's too good a player to have his sort of head turned and then completely go off the boil.
Yeah.
And he's their best player, so they'll keep having to play him and keep having to go through him. They can't snub him for the season even if they want to sort of teach him a lesson.
Yeah.
I think
it will end up being best for both parties that they
just play him and play him as much as possible and let him play in the way he wants. So he could well have another great season, and they surprised me. I don't think they've done enough again to sort of bridge the gap to the teams above them.
Have we done enough to bridge the gap to those teams? I suppose that's what we're going to
I think we've bridged the gap from 15th to
at least 8th.
Then the rest of it comes down to either the rest of the window or the players that we already had.
Yeah.
Looking a lot better than they did.
You have to hope.
We're
time for time. It's been about an hour already. But should we do the bottom 3?
Yeah. Have you got all going back down?
No, I haven't. I've tried not to, and I've managed it.
Yeah.
I've got Burnley bottom.
Yeah.
I just don't see them having enough to stay up. I think they'll be hard to score against at times, but they'll find it hard to score.
Losing Trafford's big as well.
Yeah. He was a big part of the amazing record-breaking defence last season. So they might be hard to break down at times, but ultimately I don't think they'll have enough.
Yeah.
I've got Brentford in 19th.
Okay.
Brentford could go either way. Brentford do seem to, they like to surprise people, but it just seems they've lost their 2. Well, they've lost in Burma. They're probably going to lose Wissa. Yes. They've lost Norgard. They've lost Frank, and he's taken most of his staff with him. Yeah. He didn't take Keith Andrews with him, and he's now the manager, and he's not managed anywhere near this level. Brentford are very good at what they do. So it's possible that there's some masterstroke and they sign the next Mbeumo and the next Wissa. And then in a year's time, they'll be, 12th again and they've done it again.
Yeah.
But I'm going for the former, that they will go down.
Yeah.
And then for me, I think 2 of the teams that come up will go down. So it's between Sunderland and Leeds for 18th.
You think shoot out for between them 2?
Yeah. And I think Leeds will stay up.
Okay. Calvert-Lewin, big factor in that.
No, probably not. But I can just see. I think this brings me on to the first manager sacked. I can't look past Daniel Farke.
Yeah,
because they were very close to sacking him when they got straight up. Yeah. So I don't think it would take much for them to sack him. So I think they'll stay up with their second manager of the season, whether that's Sean Dyche or Postecoglou or another. And Sunderland, I think it will be close, but they just won't quite do it. Yeah. But I think they'll keep the manager, and I think that's the right decision.
Yeah, there's a Sunderland, another team again, who could go either way. They've signed a lot of players, which introduce a lot of variance in terms of how good they can be. They could all be rubbish.
Yeah.
They could not a lot. I think Jack is a really good signing to sort of try and bridge the gap to the Premier League. Premier League. It
could be a lot of Premier League. It could be a massive signing. It could be an amazing signing for them,
or it could not be enough.
Yeah,
they could have signed sort of 3 or 4 great players and sort of look quite comfortable, finish 13th, 14th, or none of them could work and they could go straight back down. I think either of those is pretty possible. Pretty rubbish prediction. A lot of the teams I say, you can't really predict how good they'll be.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, I think it's going to be a really interesting season.
Yeah, I agree. I think
there's very few positions that are nailed on.
Yeah.
I think.
Even the bottom 3, which lots of people are obviously going for them to go straight back down. But
it doesn't take a lot for a team to be dragged into that conversation. I think, like you say, I think Bournemouth have lost a lot of good players.
Yeah.
I think Wolves haven't really done enough in the market to strengthen.
West Ham
are always there, or they're never far clear.
Yeah.
Brighton, I think, will be fine.
Yeah, Everton, I think, will be fine.
Everton will be fine, I think.
Fulham, some people say they could get dragged in. They've not done a lot. They've sort of gone under the radar a bit this summer. Everyone's talking about all the teams around them, and they're just sort of there. So it's possible. I think Fulham will be fine. I think Wolves will be fine, to be honest. I think they weren't as. I think once the new manager came in, they did much better. They've lost Cunha, which could be massive, but I think they'll be fine, really. But I think West Ham. It's very possible that the 3 promoted sides go down, and then for me, if they don't, it's Brentford and then West Ham.
Yeah. I think they'll all go straight back down, which I think is a sort of damning indictment on
3 seasons in a row.
Football,
quite something.
The football pyramid.
Yeah,
but also it's a tricky thing to do something about.
Yeah,
because the Premier League, obviously, everyone thinks the Premier League earns too much money, but the Premier League is the product that people want and are willing to pay that much money for.
Yeah.
I think there is, for the improvement of football as a whole, they should do they should give more money to the Championship to bridge that gap and smooth the sort of cliff edge, as people call it. But they're not really obliged to do it. They'd sort of have to either be forced to do it by some other government regulator, or the competition would get so boring in the bottom half of the table.
But they want that. They want it's 14 clubs owned by Americans would prefer that close shop, guaranteed Premier League survival, guaranteed Premier League money every year.
And it means you can put the Big Six on the TV more if the games towards the bottom are more meaningless.
Yeah.
I think there is something in that, and it is a shame that I think great relegation battles of the past have made seasons much more interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And I would like to see that. And I've sort of, it's slightly wishful thinking from my prediction that there will be a relegation battle.
Yeah.
Because last season it was
over and done with.
Done. Yeah.
They got something. They got less than 100 points between the three of them, did they?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Like that's a really poor state of affairs, I think. But like you say, it's not in anyone's interest really, with any power to do anything about it.
Yeah, unless the independent regulator can.
Unless someone, with some teeth can do something. Right, Sunday. Big one.
Yeah. I'm nervous. It's a while since we've played a big team, like one of the other big six, first game of the season.
Yeah.
I think Chelsea 2020, was it 2019? We played Chelsea opening day.
All right, come back to that.
4-0.
It's one of them. I'm quite okay with it in that if we lose, I think we're not destined. We're never destined to compete at the very top level. Yeah. And if we win, then I think we're going to win the league.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm pretty happy with it. I'm not happy to lose, obviously, but I'm pretty. I've made my peace with it either way.
Yeah, unless we get
humiliated,
I want it. I'd like a good game. I could see a 2-2 or something. Yeah, which I think everyone would be happy with. Arsenal would always be happy with a draw at Old Trafford.
Yeah,
and we'd be happy with a good showing against a big side.
Yeah,
so
I think both teams would walk away with that pretty comfortable, pretty happy.
But obviously, I think we're going to win. I think we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Do you think Sesko will start?
It's a big one. I've not checked. I think he had a pretty full preseason with Leipzig. I think he played because it was quite a short saga.
Yeah.
From the bids going in, so I think maybe he played a couple of preseason games. They always do in Germany. They play some local amateur side and win 50.
Yeah.
So I could see him starting.
Yeah.
Depends. Well, they've sort of frozen Højlund out. They did against.
He made a point. I think that was Amorim making a point. Yeah.
So if that continues, does he start Mount or Bruno and the sort of false nine, or Cunha or Mbeumo up front? I think it doesn't set a precedent, but opening day of the season at home, big game. You play your best players in their best positions. I think this should be the game, the sort of platonic ideal of this United side.
Yeah.
Where you put the players in the best positions and let them play. You don't need to overthink it. I think you've signed 3 forwards, play 3 forwards. You've signed 3 forwards and frozen out 5 forwards.
Yeah.
There's not a huge amount of competition for those spaces.
Yeah.
But other players have sort of made a decent showing of it in pre-season. I think Mount's played okay to the point where he's in the conversation. But I don't think we have an option beyond playing Sesko because they've frozen Højlund out, and he might well have left by then. There's a lot of noise around Milan. What about you? What do you think? Do you think he'll start? Do you think he'll?
I was thinking no, but you've sort of convinced me that he will. Because I can't see him starting Mount as a false 9 in the first game at home against Arsenal. You want to blow people away the first game of the season. This is what we are. Make a statement. Yeah. Sesko's our man. And I think he's going to start. And
maybe, but he won't play 90 minutes. But
yeah, it's going to be a big battle. Sesko and Gyökeres both easily could have gone to the other side.
Yeah, could easily be the other way around. I don't want Gyökeres to score.
No,
I think he probably will score.
Do the celebration thing. I can't do it holding this. But.
No, I think he probably will score because he's that's what he does. He's a reliable goal scorer.
Yeah.
If he scores and we win, then I wouldn't really mind.
Yeah, I take it. Take any win.
We were going to talk about our favourite opening day memories.
We were.
Speaking of that Chelsea game, I look back through. There's basically 3 opening day games that I can remember.
Right.
There's the 3-1 defeat to Brighton. Was it 2-1 defeat to Brighton? In
Ten Hag's first season. Yeah, that was
awful
poor.
game.
Not as poor as his second game.
No, the Brentford that way. And then
that was quite poor.
2 of my favourite. I can't remember if I was at Old Trafford. I remember watching them on TV, but even when I'm at Old Trafford, I watch them on TV.
Yeah.
So the Chelsea 4-0.
Yeah.
And the Leeds game, the 5-1.
Yeah.
We felt like that Leeds game, we were going to blow everyone away. It turns out it's quite easy to blow Leeds away. So I think those are my 2. The Dan James scoring on his debut against Chelsea.
His dad had just died.
Yeah, what a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
And the sort of the explosion of passion when he scored that goal was just, that's what it's all about. That's what you want to see from the players. The sort of, and it didn't work out for him long term, but I don't think any United fans got too much bad will for Dan James.
No.
He was signed probably to a too high a level and looked like he was playing at too high a level, but you can't really begrudge him that.
Yeah.
And then
that Leeds game was amazing.
With Varane unveiled before this, looking very sharp in his suit, and then
Fernandes
hat-trick, Pogba 4 assists. Just, joyous football.
That was Ollie's team showing that they were ready to win the league.
That was them at their best, and they were the last United team capable of blowing people away.
Yeah.
They didn't get over the line in the end, and they didn't win a trophy, and that's what will taint that United side in people's memories.
Yeah,
but on that one day in the sunshine, it all clicked, and it was against Leeds, and I think it was just the sort of the perfect version of that side. And so those are my 2 favourite opening day memories. I'm sure you've got much further back ones. Or not much further back, but you can recall more than I can.
Well, as a unapologetic Mourinho fanboy, Mourinho's second season, it was Lukaku's debut and we won 4-0 against West Ham at Old Trafford.
Game,
I saw a tweet the other day saying there's no greater feeling than when your new number 9 scores his first goal.
Yeah.
And Lukaku got 2 that day, and it was, this is our guy.
Yeah.
He's Man United striker. He's our number 9 and he's scored 2, and we looked really good that game. We won 4-0. And it was like, Joe, this is Mourinho's United,
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the talk of the season before was they need a proper number 9.
Yeah.
They had Ibrahimovic, and
he was never going to be long term.
It wasn't they needed the heir to the throne, and they got the man. And there's always sort of a bit of reticence when a new centre forward comes in, because you get 1 or 2 games down the line and everyone gets a bit edgy about when
they've not got the goal.
They've not got the right man. But so the relief of the first goal is massive.
Yeah, that was a good feeling. I don't remember watching it, but there was one that the 2006-7 where we were listening on the radio in the car. We just put it on,
I remember.
And the commentators said like it was crossed into Ronaldo, and then the commentator said 4-0. And this was about 15 minutes into the game.
Yeah, that rings a bell.
And we thought we'd misheard it. I think it was against Fulham. Nice. It finished 5-1 or something.
Nice.
That turned out to be quite a good season.
Yes.
Won the league. I remember, one I do remember was, because this was Van Gaal's first season. We had season tickets not long at this point, and the Moyes season was poor, but we both, I think, fell in love with Van Gaal immediately.
Yeah.
We watched every game on the tour and we didn't lose a game.
And with the World Cup as well.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
The moment that we both fell in love with Van Gaal is Van Persie scores the header, runs the length of the pitch and high fives Van Gaal. At that point this is it, we're in the promised land.
And we didn't lose a game on tour, beat Liverpool 3-1 and won a trophy for it. I think we beat Real Madrid as well, yeah. We beat LA Galaxy 7-0, I think.
Yeah.
And then we had a conversation of what if we just never lose a game under Van Gaal? And then the first game of the season, we lost at home to Swansea.
Yeah. Yeah.
and brought us back down to earth with a bang.
And he never really got going again after that.
Yeah, we did have good patches in that season, but that was just a real. We were naive and thought this is the one. We've only seen that was the third United manager we'd seen.
Yeah,
in our lifetimes.
It was the third United manager that
a lot of people had seen, people much older than us had seen. Yeah, and Moyes was poor, so it was like that's all we've got rid of him. Now we're back to being the best club in the world again. It didn't quite work out, and now 11 years later, no. 11 years later, we're ready to do it all over again.
I mean, if we beat Arsenal on Sunday, I'm going to think, we're back to normal. United back again.
Yeah, about time.
It's sort of, it's not, I can't think of the phrase. There's a blessing and a curse, maybe, to have a big team on the opening day where you can, if you lose, then it's really bad. And if you win, it's really good. But I don't think it's that bad if we lose because we're not supposed to be Arsenal.
We're not supposed to be better than Arsenal yet.
So I think it's sort of a free hit.
Yeah. We just want to play well.
Yeah.
We've got to show that we compete with Arsenal. We're not expecting to be better than them, but
I mean, we competed with Arsenal to a degree at the end of last season. We beat them in the FA Cup. We drew with them in the league at Old Trafford.
Yeah, we could have won that game.
We should have. Yeah, we weren't blown away by Arsenal in any of the games we played in last season. So I'm not too worried that we'll be blown away by Arsenal this time.
Yeah, the Arsenal away game last season was really annoying. They scored two goals from corners. Yeah. And that was, we competed with them again in that game. We were in the game and then they scored 2 goals from corners.
Yeah. So I think I'm not too worried that we'll be blown away. But if we can get a win, then it's full steam ahead.
Yeah. Because we didn't win many games under Amorim last season.
No,
especially that we're against teams that are still in the Premier League.
Yeah. Just getting some wins under the belt. I mean, we've got a pretty tough start to the season.
Yeah, Arsenal, City and Chelsea in the first 5 games.
So I think Arsenal at home is one of the more winnable ones of those. So if we can win that, then
if we win the Burnley and Fulham between City and Chelsea, if we win those, then it doesn't matter if we lose the other 2. That's still 9 points from a tough run.
5 games and sort of the season's underway at that point.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting game. I think
it's going to be an interesting season.
Yeah. For a lot of teams, there's no sort of, apart from Palace, who'll finish mid-table, everyone else has got a long way up or down that they can go.
Yeah.
We have to be better than last season.
We have to be.
I'm relying on that thought that I can't really see a way we get worse.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, chances
we survived last season. I don't mean survived in the Premier League, which we did, but we didn't. It wasn't the end of the world that we had a dreadful season, and it will be better this season.
It will. I'm sure.
We'll enjoy some days of the season, and that's all we ask for.
And we'll be here to talk about it
every week. Not every week. Well, yeah, we're going to try and do 38 podcasts at least.
News to me. Yeah, no, we might as well give it a go.
If we can't do it this season, when it's just the Premier League to focus on.
Yeah. As long as you don't delay the recording time by an hour again.
Oh well, some of us have got jobs. We're going to try and do a lot this season. We're going to do reviews of games and previews of games and talk about any news that takes our fancy.
Yeah, and what we're not going to do is blind rank anything.
No blind rankings. None of that game where you say an initial.
Oh, I like that one.
Oh, maybe we'll do that.
How about guess the career path?
Guess the career path.
I mean, that's just clean up on them.
That's just pointless. All of the issue with with the trivia games is you'll win. So it's got to be opinion stuff. It's got to be.
But blind ranking.
Yeah, we're not doing blind rankings because it's worse than just a regular ranking. Rank things. That's fine. You don't need to blind rank them because then you get to the end and you went, oh, that's not really what I think.
I'd put that there.
Great. Just do that then. Do a regular ranking.
Yeah.
Might do some written stuff. If anything takes our fancy.
Yeah.
And they won't all be as long as this as well.
Yeah, I am not.
I'm starving. About mid-tea. What are you having?
Pasta.
It's probably a while off.
Yeah. A slice of life there. It's not all football. No. Real people behind the camera.
Yeah.
Anyway, we should probably wrap up there. Yeah. But I'll see you at Old Trafford on Sunday.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
We'll bring it home.
Roll on the Reds.
As you were. At Red Army Reaction on social media.
I'll put that after the closing music, maybe.